Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the LangChain projects as well as LLMs related playlist. Because this video is not just about LangChain, okay? Uh, this video is about you evaluating your LLMs with the help of Mistral 7 billion. Yes, you heard it right. Hereafter, you need not rather worry about how I'm gonna evaluate my models, what is the metric, or what shall I do about it. Your savior is here, Mistral. He has given some pretty good results with the case of evaluation, and for the framework we are using LangChain, so that is why we are having this in both playlist. So yeah, guys, I hope you all will like this video. Once you end this video, you will have a framework ready for you to evaluate your models in different aspect. Okay, so about that aspect I'll show you at the later part of this video itself. But I would recommend you all to watch the evaluation of LLMs is all you need video after this video. Okay, and I'll also attach the link in the description, because in that video I would have detailedly discussed about what are all the aspects you need to focus on. So once you see these aspects which is available in LangChain, and you should compare those with the aspects which is available in that video which I would have discussed, and try to evaluate based on that. I'll also say how to do that with one example or two examples. Okay, so that is about the introduction of this video. So let's jump into the video content right now. Okay, so here if you see, let me zoom in. Here I've provided an input known as input for dialog summarization. This is the dataset which we used for fine-tuning Mistral in our previous video, but this is not the same Mistral model. We have used the GGF version. I'll also show that also. Okay, so here we have given an input stating that Amanda is saying, I baked cookies, do you want some? And Jerry is saying sure, and Amanda is replying that I'll bring you tomorrow. Okay, so the idea is that you should provide summarization. So that is the idea. And for better result, what I will also say you some methods what you can do to have a better evaluation. Okay, so yeah, coming on to the output, I've said that Amanda baked some cookies and she will bring Jerry those tomorrow. This is model output. Okay, and your base ground truth, which is the reference here, is Amanda baked cookies and will bring Jerry some tomorrow. So considering this is our input, output, and ground truth, we can evaluate in different aspects, out of which one is correctness. So correctness will work on different aspects. So it has said that the submitted answer is Amanda baked some cookies and she will bring Jerry those tomorrow. The statement accurately represents the information given in the task. Okay, so it is saying, okay, the output is pretty good, it is correct, it is correlating very much with the given input. And accuracy, it is saying that okay, the reference is correct with the output and there is no misleading or inaccurate statements. Okay, and factuality, it is said that obviously when you are correct and accurate, so you will be factual for sure. And based on this assessment, it is saying that it meets all the criteria of correctness. So basically the result is correct. Okay, so here, considering the improvement, right, what you can do is, when you are giving the input, this is how the input usually will be. So that is why I've kept it like this. What you should do is, based on the task, let's say you are having a summary, which is summarization here, right? Just add a line stating that write a summary for the following dialogue, something like that. You provide an instruction which it will understand that okay, here the model output expected is a summary of the following conversation. So that is something very important which will give you better results, which I have tried. Okay, so yeah, that is some amazing result which we have got here, because obviously this is very small input and output, but if you have larger outputs, still this will work, and that time this will be very helpful. Okay, so yeah, that is about the result. So before going on to the code, I'll show you about the different aspects available. Okay, so here we have the different aspects available. Let me zoom in. Okay, This is the source code, and it is pretty helpful to show via this. Okay, these are the aspects which is available. So let me go through these and let me explain you what are all these, so that you can try to compare this with the evaluation of LLMs. Is all you need video, and then based on that you can prepare a framework, which I'll say how to do that also. Okay, so here we have conciseness, which will say if the submission is concise and to the on to the point. So let me give you some examples for each of those. Okay, so in conciseness, let's say you have summarization. So summarization needs to be concise. Even if you see in reasoning based question answering, right, it should be very concise. You should not say like I done that, I did that. It should be on point. That is what conciseness is. So this is a metric which you can use when you are having some ground truth, and it should try to appropriately be there, like without some fillers. Okay, so if that helps, that is how you can imagine this conciseness. Okay, and yeah, I'm not concise in my videos. I'm not concise. I tend to go off topics at some time. So yeah, I'm not concise. Relevance. So relevance is what is relevance? Actually, if you see, relevance is a metric which you can sort of associate with correctness also, because your ground truth, you have it and you're matching the ground truth, which means you are correct, which means your output also going to be relevant. But consider some cases where you don't have some ground truth. Okay, in that case, to check if the given output is relevant to the given input, let's say even if I'm generating the summary, right, to check if the summary is relevant to the given input, then you can choose this relevance. I hope this will make you understand what is this criteria. Okay, correctness, I think we all saw right now. Okay, next is coherence. It will try to check if the generation which it is performed is coherent, well structured and organized. You see, in generation task, let's not just go into summarization alone. Let me say I'm just trying to ask the model to write an email for me. The email should be very coherent and it should be very structured, right? So there is a structure which is always to be followed. First we need to have a to, and then cc, and then if cc if it is there, and then subject, and then your salutation, and then followed by that you'll go into the body of the letter, followed by which you will have the thanks and regards, whatever it is. So this is the structure which it should be followed, which should be organized, but the content inside the body also should be very coherent. So to check on these aspects, you can go for coherence. Okay, these are all something which will be more focused on your accuracy. Okay, so you can put it that way. How accurate is your result? These are all some metrics for that. But the following metrics here are or the following criteria here will be underrated but very useful. Okay, harmfulness, maliciousness, helpfulness, controversiality, misogyny rather, criminality, insensitivity, depth, creativity, detail. All are about the nature of the generation rather than the performance, how good it is. It won't focus on that. So considering harmfulness, the character. So if you are having some harmful words, it will say it is harmful. So in that time you can try to avoid those kind of responses. Try to find a workaround how to avoid these harmful responses. Okay, maliciousness is also the same way. If you are having some personal data being leaked, it is going to be something malicious, right? So yeah, maliciousness there. Controversiality, if you are going for some controversial topics which the model shouldn't talk about, obviously, because we have seen in that video itself where the model shouldn't be biased, right? Obviously it will be bias will be there, but you should try to evaluate and find the bias, and based on that you should try to fine tune it. So controversial topics comes out when you have some bias, obviously, because if you have some bias, you'll try to talk on that topic also, which will be very controversial. Best example is the model should not talk about politics. Okay, so yeah, that is about controversiality. I think you all know what is misogyny. So yeah, and then we have criminality as well, saying about something criminal which shouldn't be there. Obviously, let's say if I'm asking how to kill a person, it shouldn't try to respond me, right? In that cases, see, even if I have a ground truth stating that this is how you need to kill, this parameter, which is criminality, supersedes the other parameters, let's say even correctness. So yeah, you should decide which criteria supersedes the other. Okay, so that is about criminality. So next is insensitivity. Again, this is to check the bias. If it is biased to any group of people, is it insensitive to any group separate group of people? Okay, and then we have depth, creativity, and detail. Detail is about attention to detail. Is it on point? Is it focusing on even small things, which is very needed? Creativity, this is some metric which you won't use a lot of times, but let's say you are having a generation of poem, so at that time you can use creativity. Or also, if you are having some kind of plagiarism, okay, to make it understand if it is creative or not, is it novel or not, then you can go for this creativity metric also. And then depth, it is demonstrate if there is a depth of thought. Is it thinking deep enough for generating this kind of response? So yeah, if you see, uh, it is trying to cover you almost every aspect. So let me also open that in HP docs also. Let me go for my GitHub. Okay, I didn't update it for some time. uh, I'll try to update it as soon as possible. Okay, so in this I wanted to show you one thing. So here we have this evaluation of LLMs is all you need. So this is the video. Obviously, if you want, you can check it out. And here, if you see, I've talked about the different metrics you need to evaluate on. Let's say if you have semantic analysis, text classification, these all can be evaluated with correctness itself. Okay. But when you go for this, so robustness, ethics and bias, trustworthiness, this can be evaluated under these metrics like harmfulness, controversiality, insensitivity. Okay. So yeah, what I would like you all to do is go through this, have an understanding of each metric which is there, and try to map those metric with these criterias, so that you'll know if the model is ticking all the boxes in the metric specified here. Because these metrics is an exhaustive list. It covers almost every aspect you need to evaluate your models on. So yeah, I would recommend you all to do that. So now that we know how is this criteria, let me go for the coding part. Okay. So let me fire up the VS Code now. Here we have the configuration ready. All right. So in the configuration, I'm just keeping two parameters. I'll show you why also. Okay. And for model, we are using Mistral 7B OpenArca Q80GGUF, the same model which we used for the custom RAG pipeline which we built in the previous video. Okay, of LangChain projects, obviously. And then the model type is llama, max new tokens is 512, 0.1 being the temperature, so that it will be very strict in its generation, because evaluation is not a place where you have creative freedom. So try to have it as 0.1, and then do sample is set to true. Okay, so these are the config is not pretty huge here. Next we have the eval.py file. I'll say what you need to do. Okay, so here we have the C transformers being imported, and then from evaluation we are importing load evaluator. So here if you see, it will take an evaluator type, and also it will take an LLM. Okay, so let me say about the evaluator type also. So here we have the model and model type, max new tokens, temperature, do sample, all the configs are being loaded here in the initialization, and then we are loading the LLM also based on that. Next, you need to create a list called criterias, which will take all the criterias which is there. Because if you see, obviously I don't have the computation enough to do all at the same time, because it will take time. Obviously, I think it took me around 1.5 to 2 minutes for this evaluation, because I'm running in CPU. My CPU is not that powerful, or else even my RAM is not that big either. So yeah, if you have a bigger system, let's say if you have server, then yeah, you can go for all the metrics also at the same time. But yeah, if you want to evaluate on every aspect or every criteria, what you can do is, let me show what you need to do. First, have all of those metrics names here. So how to get that names? It is there in the website which I show now. Let me show you. So now you might think, Vasan, where is that? So here is it actually. So here we have the class criteria, right? Inside that, everything is there: conciseness, relevance, correctness, coherence. Have all of these inside the config file. Okay, so that would be the step which is required. Okay, so if you are evaluating on all the metrics, so that would be the step required. So now with that we know what we need to do. Let's again go for the code. Okay, so yeah, you can paste those into this config. Okay, so that you'll have all the metrics ready, and then make a list out of it. Why is this list? I hope you all would know by now, but I will also say you why is this list needed. Okay, so in this list, obviously now we have only one metric of evaluation or one criteria of evaluation, but you have n number of choices here. Okay, so next we have two functions. Okay, one function is evaluate criteria. So what it will take is, it will take the criteria name, it will take the input, it will take the prediction, it will take the reference. Input is your model input, prediction is your model output, and reference is your ground truth. Okay, so evaluator is being called with the load evaluator function, with the evaluator being named as labeled criteria. You see, like I said, there are a lot of scenarios where we won't have a ground truth, or else we shouldn't rely on a ground truth. For example, if I'm asking it to write a poem, you should not evaluate if it is correct or not, right? It is not needed. You should not try to say, okay, this is the ground truth, check based on that. So on that basis, what you can do is, instead of having it as labeled criteria, have it as criteria alone, and in that case you need not provide your reference. Okay, so that is the main difference. Other than that, everything is going to remain the same. So everything will work with ground truth also, but if you have the need for using ground truth, go for label criteria. If you think, okay, I should not use, or I need not use my ground truth, go for just criteria and don't use reference. Okay, so that is about the evaluator type. Now we will get the criteria from here. The LLM is also provided, and in the evaluator we'll have the evaluate strings function. That is the function which is needed. It will call, and in that we'll be taking the reasoning alone. Okay, so what will happen is, actually it will try to return a score also, which most probably it won't be correct, because how the prompt is written is, you should evaluate, and once based on your reason, when you come to a judgment, create a new line character, and then have y or n being the your verdict. Okay, so verdict is a good name to say. So if you are saying y, it will be 1, and if you are saying n, it will be 0. So that is how they would have written. But yeah, the model will use /n wherever it is possible. So yeah, you shouldn't rely on that. Rather than just return your reasoning, because what you can do, just hold on, let me say later. Okay, again obviously I'll show the output and how you can go about this, or else what is the future thing which is possible here. Okay, next we have the eval sample, where we have the input, prediction, reference. This is the function which we will call in the application also. I'll show you that in the application. So I'm having a dictionary here. Okay, so once I pass through the criteria which is there, I'll call the evaluate criteria, and this is why we needed the list. Let's say you have 10 criteria. You need not make 10 instances of this application and do anything. Okay, just have all the criteria being listed here. No changes needed. It will work as fine as how it is working now. Okay, so you can call this, and for debugging I kept this. I'll remove this also here. Okay, so now what it will do is, it will try to create a dictionary stating that correctness and its verdict. Okay, its reason behind the verdict obviously, or else the evaluation which it has performed. So if you have coherence, it will be coherence is to the evaluation. So The maximum possibility here is, I guess, around 12 or 13 criteria is there, if I'm not wrong. So maximum possibility is 13. So in that case also you need to change something, which will be I'll showing in the app.py file. So yeah, this also is a small file. We'll set the page config. We are setting the session state to be clicked as true so that it won't reset the data, and we are loading the evaluator first. That is the main part. Okay, so first we are loading the evaluator, which we are calling it here. Mistral evaluator is being called, and we are getting the input, prediction, and reference from the user. But if you are thinking, okay, Vasant, I have lot of samples to evaluate under, so what I can do? What I will suggest is have a loader file uploader there, maybe CSV or most probably CSV should be better. So have your CSV being uploaded and then read a data frame here and then run it under a loop. Okay, so that is what I would suggest. So that is there. And yeah, if you click the button evaluate and then if you click the session state to be true, it will call the eval sample function, which we know right now, right? We need to provide the input, prediction, and reference. And what I'm doing is I'm going through the criteria and the verdict through the eval samples with items. Okay, so the dot items function is called because it is a dictionary, and inside the dictionary obviously have the criteria and the verdict, criteria being the key and verdict being the value. So I'm just having the capitalize function because C is let's say in correctness C will be small. That is how it will work with the load evaluator, right? So I just kept it like that in the config, but while printing it, it is better to have the first letter as capital, so I just had the capitalize function to make it camel cased, and then we are writing the verdict also. You see, now obviously it is working amazing. I'll again go through the result and I'll say what you need to do further. But before going on to that, what are the steps you can do when you are doing it for a large scale? First, on a large scale, if you're going for a large number of metrics, what I would suggest is have this printed as st.json. Okay, there's a function called st.json which will print your JSON, not JSON obviously, dictionary. So once you return the dictionary, if you print it as st.json, it will work fine. Okay, so that is number one. Let's say you have 10,000 evaluation, so obviously you can't go for the application. Then what you can do is have a data frame, create these. Okay, so create this class and have a map function being mapped, or else apply function rather. Yes, so if you want me to make a video on how to evaluate under a batch of samples, let's say you have 100 samples evaluation for obviously for evaluation in a data frame, how to evaluate that, let me know. It is a quick video. I'll make it short, maybe in 5 to 10 minutes it should be probably done, but it will take longer time. Okay, so why I made this application, that is the first intention, because I would have shown this in a Jupyter notebook, which is more easier, right, to build it is more easier to show and build rather than an application. So see, the idea is, like I said, you can't have the score directly. That is the one disadvantage which I faced here, because Mistral isn't doing that one thing. /n, it is using some other places as well, so it is not able to provide the correct value, which is 0 or 1. So what I would suggest is have a rather a list here. Okay, so what you should do is, this is the logic which I would suggest you all to do. Have a list here, try to provide 1 or 0 based on your assumption. Okay, so let me go through the correctness here again. I think we all know that it is a correct one, right? So let me say if the same is repeated for coherence, but it is not relevant. Okay, it is not possible, but I'm just saying it is not relevant. So what I will do is I'll have correctness as 1, relevance as 0, and coherence as 1. I'll repeat this all for all the samples, obviously, and based on that you can calculate the total and divide it by the number of samples, which means you will have the accuracy of each metric. So this is how you need to go about your evaluation. So yeah, that is about the evaluation, guys. We have LangChain, and yeah, there are some other frameworks as well which I have heard a lot about. I'm exploring on that front, so if I get anything I'll let you know, but this is very helpful. Like you can see, right, it is saying, consider you have a summary of 15 lines and maybe an input of 30 lines. It will take a longer time, right? It will do it in 2 minutes. So yeah, it is good to have evaluation of LLMs, and even in that evaluation of LLMs is all you need video. I would have said that auto human eval is the way to go, and this is auto human eval. So yeah, you can also consider this to be a part 2 video of that video. So yeah, but this is a standalone video by itself. And yeah, so try to evaluate under all aspects possible, so that you'll be very sure that your model is not failing. And the good thing about you going through this correctness or some feedbacks, right, you'll know where the model exactly failed. Let's say you're having benchmark data and then you're just running it and you're getting an accuracy, you wouldn't know where the model failed or something. But with these kind of evaluations, you know exactly where the model fails, and you can come up with some approaches to have that being sorted. Okay, so yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all like this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share it among with your friends, because this is something everyone needs to know, because evaluation is a key part in any LLM building process. So share it with among with your friends and communities. Let me know in the comment section if you need any help with this, or else if you have any suggestions, wasn't do on some other metric, try with this kind of application. If you have any suggestion, let me know in the comment section. And more importantly, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button, because I've heard from people stating that Premiere is not coming, notification is not coming. That's what they're saying me. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button without forgetting. So yeah guys, I'll see you all in the next video, which is again going to be another interesting video in the LangChain projects playlist itself. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, cheers.